Hey y'all, so I just wanted to take a second and dedicate this video to proper breathing techniques. So your breath is very powerful. You can utilize your breath work to calm your mind and focus, something very similar that you would utilize in a meditative practice or a yoga practice. You can also use your breath to energize your body and really recruit a lot of your deep core muscles, improve your aerobic endurance and exercise. So we are going to discuss first a little bit of the anatomy involved and what happens with an inhalation and an exhalation. And then we're going to be talking about different techniques that you can feel free to play with in your Pilates practice. So starting first with the anatomy here, there's one muscle that we really want to hone in on, and that's your diaphragm. There's a whole host of other smaller players, your scalenes, your intercostals up in your rib cage, but the diaphragm is really where we want our attention and focus to be. So your diaphragm is a little dome that sits underneath your rib cage here, goes underneath your rib cage all the way around to the back, and then it has little muscle fibers that walk down the very inside of your lumbar vertebra. Now, when you take an inhalation through your nose, you'll find that the diaphragm actually travels down to the bottom of the rib cage here. And that's in order to allow the breath to come into your lungs and your rib cage to expand right here. So when you inhale, diaphragm travels down. Ribs expand. When you exhale, diaphragm pulls up into the lungs and the ribs, and your rib cage connects and closes off, so the air will come out of your mouth. So again, just taking a few inhalations in through the nose and out through the mouth, and just picture that movement here of the diaphragm and the lungs and the rib cage. And again. In through the lung, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And good. So relax the breath for a second. I don't want you getting lightheaded or hyperventilating here. So just to recap again, the inhalation, your diaphragm travels down into the abdomen here. Lungs and ribs expand to draw the air in. Your exhalation lifts the diaphragm, closes off your ribs, and pushes the air out. Now, that was just step one, right? So there's a whole other issue happening down in the abdomen when you're breathing, specifically your transversus abdominis, right here, or your lower abs, as I typically refer to them here. So your lower abdominals here, they are a massive muscle, right? Your lower abdominals, or TA, transversus abdominis, it comes all the way up to your sternum, down around the rib cage, all the way around to the back of the body. Fill in the space, comes around from the hips and down to the pubis symphysis. So if you can imagine what a corset looks like, that's very similar to how this muscle is placed anatomically in your body. So for this next round of breath work, I want you to place your hands on your belly, and we're going to take a very big, deep breath, and I want you to allow the belly to expand outwards like a balloon. Don't be shy, let the belly spill out here. So we're going to take a big inhale through your nose. Expand the belly. Now exhale, pull the belly tight. Finish at the ribs. And again, in through the nose, expand your lungs and your ribs, and then allow the belly to expand. Inhale. And exhale, pull the belly tight. Close the ribs. Good. So that was called a diaphragmatic belly breath right there. So that's a very useful breath when we're trying to relax the body here. You let the muscles kind of just do their thing. We don't really emphasize too much engagement otherwise. But that's, again, if you were doing a yoga pose, savasana, you would fall into a little bit more of that nice calming diaphragmatic belly breath, big deep breaths there. Now, what's happening here is when the diaphragm travels down into your abdomen, that increases the pressure in your abdomen. So your abs naturally want to spill outward in order to accommodate that newfound pressure. So right here, and that again, during restful meditative work, that's fine. But when we start to introduce a little bit more activity, more exercise, we don't want those lower abs to let go and pop out. We want to be able to utilize and harness the power of your lower abdominals so that we don't strain our lower back, we don't lose stabilization in our lower back. So that's a caveat for another video. So right now, this next round of breath work here, I want you to practice keeping your lower abdomen toned tight. Now, when I say toned, I don't mean full flexion bearing down. I mean, you kind of pulled in and we're trying to hang on to that here. So let's have you take an inhalation through your nose, allow your lungs and your ribs to expand, but try to keep that nice tone to your belly here. Inhale. Exhale, deepen that engagement from the lower belly. Again, hang on to some of that when you inhale. Deepen that engagement with your lower belly when you exhale. One more time. Inhale. And relax. Very good. So that is a more active breath here. And usually whenever you're doing something, again, a little bit more athletic or have a little bit more rhythm to it, you're going to be utilizing that more energetic breath, that tone to your lower abdominals to help brace for that movement. Now, the last stage that I want to talk about in your breath and what's happening is we're going to talk about the pelvic floor. So your pelvic floor is similar to your diaphragm in that it's almost a dome for your pelvis, right? You've got all of your pelvic floor muscles that are helping keep up the contents of your body, right? So when your diaphragm travels down, there's going to be a response in the pelvic floor because of the intra-abdominal pressure, right? So right here, we want to work on keeping a tone. So we find a little bit of a lift to your pelvic floor as we engage the lower belly and breathe out. So taking a big inhalation here, let it all relax. Press a little bit down into the pelvic floor when you inhale. Big diaphragmatic belly breath, belly's out, pelvic floor is relaxed, and exhale, pull the pelvic floor up and lower abs tight. Again, breathe all the way down to your pelvic floor. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, big diaphragmatic belly breath here. Inhale. Belly out, pelvic floor relax. Exhale. Lower abs tight. You've lifted the pelvic floor. So this time, for the more energetic breath here, we want to keep a tonality to your pelvic floor as well. So we don't let that pelvic floor sink and relax, right? You keep that same tonality to your pelvic floor as you would with your lower abdominals. So we're going to inhale, but keep that tone to your lower belly. Force a little more expansion through your lungs and your rib cage with this inhalation. So inhale, keeping the lower abs and pelvic floor toned. Exhale, deepen that engagement. Again, inhale. Exhale, deepen that pelvic floor engagement and lower belly. So you'll notice I'm making a little bit of a sound, and I'm exaggerating that for demonstration purposes here. So whenever I'm exhaling very energetic like that, I want a very hot breath through my mouth. I almost feel like I want to fog up a mirror if it was sitting in front of my face. So again, thinking of that imagery, keeping that imagery in your mind, let's take another energetic breath, keeping the lower abdominals toned and pelvic floor toned. So inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Feel those lower abs contract under your hand. Again, one more time. Inhale and exhale. And you can relax. So that was the energetic breath right there. Again, we're going to use that for a lot of our exercise. The general rule of thumb with your Pilates practice in particular, exercise on your exhale on your efforts. The hardest part of the move, exhale. Don't hold your breath. You will do it a couple of times and that's okay. So now let's talk about a little bit more of our one lung breathing. And this is kind of a little more abstract, but I like to utilize this and use this imagery and this technique with my rotation and my side bending here. All right, so we're going to bring attention to one lung at a time. So right here, I want you to take your right hand and I want you to plug your left nostril. So you're gonna reach across and plug the opposite side. Try taking that inhalation through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Close your eyes when you do this and see what happens when you do that one nostril breath here, okay? So you plugged your nostril, inhale, exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. Open your eyes and relax. What did you notice? Did you notice more air or more awareness to your right lung and your right rib cage? We'll take another breath and let's see if you can tune into that newfound airflow into this side here. So reach across, plug your nostril, close your eyes, and take your inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Open your eyes and relax. So we're gonna do that for the other side as well. So you're gonna take your left hand and reach across and grab or plug up the right nostril here. So you're gonna plug the nostril and take an inhale. Close your eyes when you do. Exhale. Again, one more round. Inhale. Exhale. Open your eyes and relax. Kind of cool, huh? So you can feel or tune into different sides at different times. So where I like to put this into practice, again, is more of our lateral flexion or our side bending. So I'm going to take my right hand down onto the floor beside me, raise my left hand into the air, and take a big inhale as I side bend over. Make sure you keep your hips nice and square so we don't lean when we lean over, when we side bend over. Anchor through the pelvis and inhale, side bend. Open up this side right here, and then exhale to come back up to sitting. Again, one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Final time to this side. Inhale. Exhale. And set it down. We'll take 3 to your other side. This hand, my left hand is down on the floor, right hand has come up. So let's take that inhale. Exhale. Again, 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Last round. Inhale. Exhale. And you can relax. Very nice. So that was our lateral flexion or our side bending here. Of course, we're still in our energetic breath, so we're still keeping a tone to our lower abdominals here. We don't let them engage or press away from our spine. We're keeping that tonality here to keep us lifted up nice and high in our spine. So we have one last movement to apply our breath to, and that's rotation. So from here, if you're seated up nice and tall, let's have you try taking an inhalation and rotate your rib cage to the right. So we're gonna inhale, direct your airflow here to your right ribs, your right lung, and rotate. Now exhale, come back through center. Try taking that to your left side. Inhale, exhale. Let's do one more time each side. Inhale, exhale. Last time to your left. Inhale and exhale. You can relax. So that was how we can apply that breath work to different movements here. So you can either inhale up and over to your side bending, or inhale as you rotate seated tall. When you're exhaling, that usually is for your curling forward, for your forward flexion, like your crunches or sit-ups or roll-ups, rollovers. So that was a little bit of a deeper dive into some breathing techniques that we utilize in Pilates. Again, this is a practice. This is not going to come naturally to you, especially when you're just starting out with your practice. So that's why you'll hear myself and other instructors really emphasize the breath work in your movements here. So again, don't get hung up on this. If you find that you're holding your breath during really hard parts of the exercise, which you will, and that's okay, just remind yourself to gently exhale your way out. And we'll do, and it's just a practice. So the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. All right, so with that being said, you've learned some proper breathing techniques here. Now just practice, apply it to your next exercise or your next Pilates class, and have fun with it. Just have fun with the movement. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, shoot me an email, and I will see you on the mat.